Hello, my name is Hackett-Bauer and I am presenting over Module 1A. So, a little bit about myself to get started. I am 28 years old. I am currently a band director. I teach 5th through 12th grade band in Oakley, Kansas. I have been teaching for 6 years. I am originally from Shawnee, Kansas. I graduated from Pittsburgh State University with my undergrad in music education, and then I'm currently getting my master's in administration from Fort Hays. I am a published composer, which I'll talk a little bit about more. And why did I choose music is I had some influential women in my life who helped me to see that I had this talent in something, and they helped me pursue it. So a little bit about myself. So my family. I am married. My husband and I have been married for close to 4 years. And then we do not have any children, but we have a dog. His name is Hank. He's our fur child. He's a black Labrador. The top right-hand picture is my dad. The bottom right-hand picture is my mom, my sister, and my brother-in-law. They have been officially married for about a year now. Over here is my in-laws, so my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and then my sister-in-law. And then down here are a couple of pictures. This past summer, my husband and we did Universal Disney, and so we went there, and we were huge Harry Potter fans. And then I also this summer did a different summer job than I've normally ever done. I worked at an ethanol plant, so ethanol is what makes gasoline. So that's what I wore to work. So I like to always share about this. So my passion, I have a huge passion for not only music, but music education. And so I wanted to share some pictures with you of all the different instruments and things I play. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a published composer. So up in the top right-hand corner, these are my 2 pieces that I got published in 2022 going into 2023. And I've got a couple more that are going to be published 23 into 24. But these are just the first 2 right here. Yeah. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, I like to play with the Colby Community College Jazz Band. So that's a picture of me playing trombone. The interesting point is this is a picture of me with a saxophone. That's actually what I have my degree in, is saxophone. I also play with the Colby Community Band, and I play trumpet in that group. This is just a picture of me playing flute at home, and Hank, he loves to listen to me playing all sorts of instruments. And then this is a fun instrument that I love to play, but I don't get to play it super often. It's called a baritone or a euphonium. It's kind of like a mini tuba. So you play tuba lines, but it sounds more like a trombone. And then this is a picture of me conducting a home football game. Onward. So with the assignments, so the summary, let's talk about that. So the summary of my sources, the biggest thing I found is it talked about what is social injustice. So social injustice is a certain group of people that are at a disadvantage and marginalized because of their social economic status, either their gender, their race, and ultimately this results as a problem that is deeply ingrained in society. So some examples that I came up with across all of the different sources I read was the biggest one was discrimination. This could be because of race. This could be because of, ethnicity, gender, but discriminating. Academic activities. There was an article that talked about how certain students, from white privileged or Asian households have a higher opportunity versus, like Hispanic or Black households have less opportunity. So academically. Extracurricular activities, that applies with that as well. College and career, there was an article that talked about resume packing, which was about, colleges expect you to be able to put, I participated in and lowering the standards so that it's more fair and more equal. School funding, so obviously schools that are, if they're in a lower economic bracket, they might not get as much as a school that's like a private school that's privately funded. And this can also happen with special education as well. It shouldn't, because it's backed by the state. There's laws by the state saying you have to provide X amount of funding, but you never know, at the end of the day, something might come up and special education might not get it. This can lead to dropout rates. So to help with the, lessening the dropout rate, we should be aware of this. And then lastly, homelessness. Students of homelessness, there's a certain population that this affects. So How do we change this? As educators and as a future administrator, it is our responsibility / my responsibility to find the disparities within the classrooms, the buildings, school, district, communities, to take action and responsibility for the issues that might be causing, the well-being of the students. So one of the things the articles talked about was, work on professional development, classroom management, making sure, you're not accidentally disciplining one over the other. Relieve academic pressures. So, don't put all the stress on this certain group or population. It should be more even across the board. We need to worry about social, emotional, and mental health of students. Mental health is important. We talk about that right now, that students need to get the support. Financial burdens can be another one. Students who come from a lower background might struggle more financially. The McKinney Veto Act talked about homeless population, and some of the rules, I actually learned quite a bit from this, the rules with homeless students and how they some things we can do to benefit to make sure they're getting the needs they have. Balancing responsibilities, so not overexerting one group over the other. And then I kind of thought that this was important, self-reflection. We might have biases that we don't realize we have until it's in and it's going. And so I think it's important that we reflect and see, reflect on our own biases and try our hardest not to be socially unjust. So critical reflection. So I was asked to take, evaluate at least 10 academic events. And so I listed up here, there's I think 13 or 14 of them above within my district that we have offered for students. And so how does my administrator support these activities? We have what's called AP time, and it's called academic practice. So it's kind of like our study hall, but students who are, of good grade average and, not on the DNF list, they can go to these meetings with these groups. We're very supportive of students who go to outside events and conferences. We also give back to the community. FPP, which is a philanthropic group, they do something almost monthly with the community. Our FBLA and FCCLA and FCA, they all team up, and our FFA actually, and they do a food drive. And our students raise they don't actually raise money, but they go around the community and they ask for spare cans and box goods. So that leads back to fundraising. What life skills do you think about these activities? These activities have life skills. The students use their academic knowledge that are applied in the schools for these groups. They create strong bonds and ultimately developed good character. So what is something that I would do differently if you were the administrator? Honestly, nothing. I do think there's a couple more clubs I would add, but we'll talk about that later. What do the teachers, students, parents, and key stakeholders think about these academics? I think it's a mixed feeling. I think it's good and bad. I think they like that the students are participating, they're helping, they're doing things for the community, they're learning, but sometimes these groups really overexert themselves, and they take a lot away from the time in class because students are busy helping and participating in the community, or they're going to all these different events. And what people don't realize is we're a small town, and in a small town our students do all of these things. They don't just do one, they do multiple. So how do these 10 academic activities increase equitable access to high quality digital resources? Each organization has something different to offer, and throughout the activity, they each offer something different and unique. So the next one is about non-academic, so sports. So I listed our sports up there, and we have dedicated practice times. They have obviously games. We have what's called jersey rotation, celebration. We do assemblies when teams do well to celebrate their success. And, we try to help funding wise or fundraising when they can. What do you think about these activities? So I think these activities build teamwork skills, character building skills, life skills, leadership, and ultimately I really hope the kids are having fun and they're involved. What would you do differently? Honestly, nothing. Maybe add another activity or two, but we'll talk about that later. What do the teachers, students, parents, and other key stakeholders think about these non-academic activities? We're a small town, so think about Friday Night Lights. We kind of live around our football, our basketball, and even volleyball. Our community has great support for our volleyball, so they support sports big time. How do these 10 non-academic resources, they use the technology if possible. I know our football team uses a program called Huddle, which is where they kind of record their practices and such, and they can go back and they can watch the game film. And I think there has to be other programs that our other coaches use, but that's the only one that I'm familiar with. What are barriers for non-academic? Again, small town, there's small town politics. Sometimes if you have a certain name over another person, you get your kid gets played, but it is what it is. So what academic things can we add? I really did some research on this, and I thought about, what do our students need to help them? And I really believe if we just started brand new as of this year, a STEM club, and the students have shown interest, they want to learn more about like 3D printing and just renewable energy and things like that. So we have what's called Kid Wind, and we had our physics chemistry teacher start it, and they actually won nationals last year, and because they did so well, they have their own club. But I think there's still much more room to grow. They're just starting, and they're going to do some great things. We also have NHS. This group has been passed around and tossed around from different advisor to advisor, and so, right now it's just a GPA placeholder. I think we can add more things to it. At my high school, they did tons of service hours, and they had at least monthly an activity or a group or something they participated in. Non-academic wise, I think our girls golf team, we have girls who do really well, and I don't always know if they get recognized for it. Another thing I learned is that the girls have to provide all of their own equipment, and there isn't really a set team uniform. They have a polo, but that's it. That's all they have. We also have esports. I've been told by some people in the community that they don't consider it a sport. You're not physically running, you're not going up and down a court, a field, so why should it be considered a sport? I think we have a good start on our computer setup for the kids, but it could always be better. And again, there's no team uniform, nothing. The kids just show up in their school clothes. What can we add? I think it would be so cool to add more of a foreign language club. Our kids would thrive with that. We currently are being taught Spanish, and the kids love that, but I think we could do so much more. Another one I researched on was called the Red Cross Club, and I think this would be so cool because we have tons of students who are medical bound. A lot of our people are going into nursing or vet practice, and if our students could use those skills and apply that to give back to the community, that would be awesome. Non-academic, there has always been a huge interest in softball and baseball. I honestly have no idea why we don't have a softball and a baseball team. It would be both boys and girls sports, so it would be equal. We have an outstanding rec facility with 4 fields, 2 baseball and 2 softball, so we have it. Another one kids have thrown around, and I just don't know why it hasn't been pursued, but bowling, again, it's another male-female sport, so we don't have to worry about that favoritism over one gender or the other. This is an activity that really isn't for the most athletic kid, and again, we have the facilities available. So, let's talk about the standard. Standard CLO 4.1. I believe this assignment correlates to the standard perfectly, as I was asked to evaluate our academic and non-academic activities hosted by the Oakley School District. Reflecting on these activities, I had to evaluate, develop, and support for these programs. Are the academic and non-academic supported by the school and community? Also, the relevancy statement, basically, long story short, good leadership, helping your people to be successful, they'll be successful. Sorry, I'm running real low on time. And then lastly, my personal reflection, after learning more about the injustices that take place in schools and barriers between different types of students, it is imperative as a future administrator that I make sure to self-reflect on my biases. Following, I would meet with all of the different departments, staff, coaches, and see what we can do to help their programs. So, sorry to cut that last portion short. I'm running low on time, but that's my program. So, references, and there we go. Thank you.